The wedding was only 20 minutes away. Guests filled the church. White roses covered the altar. Emma Lawson stood in front of the mirror wearing the dress she had dreamed about since she was 16. Today she was marrying Ryan Carter, the man who had helped her rebuild her life after the most painful breakup she had ever experienced. Just before the ceremony, someone knocked on the dressing room door. A hotel employee handed her a small brown envelope. "There was no sender," he said. "Only instructions to give this to you before the wedding." Emma frowned. Inside was a single photograph. It showed her former fiancé, Noah, standing outside a hospital, holding a newborn baby. On the back someone had written only one sentence. "He lied to you, but not the way you think." Emma felt her heartbeat stop. 5 years ago, Noah disappeared without saying goodbye. 2 weeks later, Ryan admitted he had always loved her. Now, 20 minutes before marrying him, Emma wondered whether everything she believed about the last 5 years had been a lie. 5 years earlier, Emma and Noah were inseparable. They had known each other since college. They lived in a tiny apartment above a bakery, argued about whose turn it was to wash dishes, and dreamed about buying a small house with a porch one day. They had almost nothing, but they were happy. Then Noah changed. It happened slowly. He stopped talking about the future, canceled dates, worked late, answered calls outside the apartment. Emma convinced herself it was stress, until one Friday evening she found a receipt for flowers. Expensive flowers, delivered to another address. When she asked him about it, Noah didn't deny it. "I think we should end this." That was all he said. No explanation. No tears. No fight. Just silence. Emma begged him to tell her the truth. Instead, Noah quietly removed the engagement ring from his finger, placed it on the kitchen table, and walked out. 3 weeks later, Ryan appeared with coffee and groceries. Ryan had been Noah's closest friend since childhood. He helped Emma move, fixed things around the apartment, stayed when she cried, never pushed, never judged. For almost a year, they were simply friends. Eventually, friendship became love, or at least Emma believed it had. Ryan proposed 4 years later. She said yes. Everyone told her she deserved someone who would never leave. No one mentioned Noah again, until the envelope arrived on her wedding day. Emma stared at the photograph. Why was Noah holding a baby? Who had written the message? And why wait 5 years to send it? Unable to ignore the feeling in her chest, she left the bridal room and walked to the parking lot. She dialed the only number she still remembered by heart. To her surprise, Noah answered. "I didn't think you'd ever call," he said quietly. Emma's voice trembled. "Whose baby is in the picture?" Long silence. Then Noah whispered, "Not mine." Emma drove away from the church before anyone noticed she was gone. Noah was waiting outside a children's hospital. He looked older. The confident young man she had once loved had disappeared. His hair was shorter. There were gray streaks near his temples. And the first thing Emma noticed was that he still wore the old leather bracelet she had given him on their first anniversary. She held up the photograph. "If that isn't your child, she's my niece." Noah nodded toward the hospital entrance. "My sister died giving birth." Emma felt confused. "Then why did you leave me?" Noah smiled sadly. "I didn't." Before Emma could respond, he handed her a folder. Inside were dozens of printed messages. Every one was between Ryan and Noah. At first, Emma couldn't understand what she was reading. Then one message made her stop breathing. "Ryan, if you really love her, you'll let her hate you." Another. "Ryan, she deserves someone who can actually build a future. You can't even pay for your mother's treatment." Another. "Ryan, walk away now, or I'll tell her about your mother's debt myself." Emma looked up. "What is this?" Noah closed his eyes. The year before we broke up, my mother was diagnosed with kidney failure, Emma remembered. He had told her she needed surgery. What he never told her was that insurance refused to pay. Noah had sold everything. His car, his tools, even the apartment deposit they had saved together. Still, it wasn't enough. Ryan offered him money, enough to keep Noah's mother alive. But there was one condition: disappear from Emma's life forever. Noah laughed bitterly. I told him no. Emma could barely breathe. He said if I stayed, he'd make sure my mother never received another payment. Emma shook her head. No, I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I couldn't watch my mother die. Tears rolled down Emma's face. But why didn't you tell me? I thought one day you'd hate me. That seemed easier than watching you choose between me and my family. Emma suddenly understood. Ryan hadn't stolen her with romance. He had bought the opportunity. Just then Ryan called for the 12th time. Emma answered. His first words were not, Are you okay? They were, Are you with Noah? She closed her eyes. For the first time, the question sounded like a confession. Emma never walked back into the church. Guests waited for nearly an hour before Ryan admitted she was gone. Later that evening, she met him in the empty reception hall. Ryan did not deny the messages. At first, he insisted he had only wanted to protect her. Then he admitted the truth. I knew if you had time, you would always choose him. The wedding was canceled. Ryan lost much more than a fiancé. The scandal spread through their town after Noah's messages became public during a civil lawsuit over the money Ryan had used to manipulate him. Several business partners ended their relationships with Ryan. His reputation, built over years, disappeared within weeks. Emma spent months rebuilding trust, not with Noah, but with herself. She realized the greatest betrayal had not been Noah's silence. It had been Ryan turning her pain into his opportunity. Nearly a year later, Emma visited Noah's small woodworking shop. He had reopened the business he once sold to pay for his mother's treatment. They talked for hours. Not about the past. About everything they had missed. Neither of them pretended 5 years could be erased. Love doesn't work that way. Forgiveness doesn't either. They started slowly. Coffee, walks, ordinary conversations. One autumn evening, Noah handed Emma a tiny wooden box he had carved himself. Inside was the engagement ring she thought he had thrown away years ago. I kept it, he said quietly. Not because I expected you to come back, but because I couldn't convince myself our story deserved to end with a lie. Emma smiled through tears. This time she didn't answer immediately. She simply took his hand. Sometimes karma isn't watching someone else lose everything. Sometimes it's finally discovering the truth, before it's too late to choose the life that was always meant to be yours.